What's up, guys? Welcome to VenGoose Gaming. I'm TFGoose here with Vendetta, and it is part 2 or week 2 of Darkest Dungeon.
Hooray!
Hooray! So if you saw our first video here where we're just kind of discussing the game a little bit and doing a bit of an intro and taking our first party through, the first adventure here, you can see the top 4 guys there are now in stress recovery. They all got a little beaten up from the last adventure. And I recruited a few new folks to take on. So I'm checking out their skills and such, trying to figure out where we want to put them in the party. Because I think I brought this up last time, man, that, some of the heroes' skills only work if you're in a certain section of the, a certain area of the lineup, right?
Yeah, indeed. So it looks like to me you got, 2 meat tanks there and 2 healers? Is that correct?
I wish. No, actually the Grave Robbers, which is the second class at the back there, they're more DPS, but they just function from the back.
Gotcha.
So, unfortunately, there were no healers on the cart that came into town for this trip, so I'm running this dungeon with no healers.
Ooh.
Which is a little rough. So it's kind of tough. I mean, I'm taking some food, but food will really only heals like 1 point at a time, and I'm really low on gold because it's the beginning of the game, so I didn't want to overstock. But it's entirely possible on this run, as I was going in, I knew that I might lose people. But, better to, lose 1 or more people, but still get out and complete the mission. So you just have to have a little bit of restraint and not care too much. So here with the alchemy table, sometimes I've actually figured out I think it's the medicinal herbs, if you carry those with you, you can actually dump that on the table and it produces a much higher likelihood of you getting something good from the table.
Interesting.
But I didn't have any with me again because I'm low on gold, so I didn't buy a whole bunch of extra stuff for this trip. But yeah, I've been reading on the forums some and kind of experimenting and figured out that a lot of those provision items that I just haven't been buying at all or even given a second thought to really do have a purpose, and they really do help you get some good stuff. There's a good crit there. But so I think as I get going and I start collecting some more money, I might actually start paying some more attention and picking up some more of those items. But
yeah, it looks like so you're kind of focusing here on DPS. You got an awesome crit early on, and you're really kind of beating face here.
Yeah, these guys, this first battle, even though it opened with like a couple bad dodges, and now this guy's kind of being a pain, but those 2 guys in the back, those Grave Robbers, they have some really nice skills for DPS. They can hit multiple targets. They can cure themselves of like blight and bleed, which is kind of cool. And, so this party is designed to try to just beat everything down as quickly as possible, because if we hang around too long, we're just going to get destroyed. And here we got really lucky with the surprise roll, so all the mobs don't get to do anything for the first round.
Oh, wow, that's huge.
Yeah, this is super good. This can actually happen to you, too. If you get a surprise for 1 or more of your party members, it doesn't make you skip around, but what it does is it shuffles the position of your party, which can be really bad,
Yeah.
So like if I get any of these, my 2 back guys shuffled up front, it can be bad for them. And then if my tanky guy gets at the back, there's very little he can do, so it's very important to try to keep your people in the order that you set them in the first place. And there's like trinkets and stuff that give you resistance against the move skills of the enemies. That's the skills that can move them around. And I'm starting to gain a lot of respect for those trinkets.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing pretty well here. Your Grave Robbers are kicking butt, but so are your, are those 2 Crusaders, or?
It's a Crusader and a Bounty Hunter.
Okay.
Actually. And so the Crusader is obviously, he's the main dude to keep up front. The Bounty Hunter works just fine from the 2nd or 3rd position, but the Grave Robbers are better from the 3rd or 4th. So I'm just keeping them back there, but the Bounty Hunter is definitely, I mean, he's DPS-y for sure.
Right.
Except, wow, you see the Grave Robber still getting the pick to the face there for some decent damage too. But, and there I did get a trinket. You see that there, that Book of Rage?
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, so it's got some interesting stuff. I mean, most of the trinkets have a good side and a downside. So a lot of times they're good at something, but at the same time, it's making you worse at something else.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm having a little bit of an issue with that because it seems to me that a lot of the trinkets, the good that they give you is so narrow in scope, like you're just not going to need that goodness. And the fact that it takes away from you some stuff the rest of the time is really bad. Like, for instance, there's one trinket that, or there's several trinkets that give you like plus damage versus a certain mob type. So like maybe like plus 20% damage versus unholy mobs, right? But the downside is it's minus like 10% damage versus every other mob type.
Ooh, so yeah, that specialization really comes at quite a penalty.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you have to be really careful about equipping those things, and if you do it in the right dungeon, if you go to a dungeon that specializes in a certain mob type, you know, then it could work out just fine. But every dungeon has at least something, it seems, from every mob type, or at least it seems so far that's true. So, and my one grave robber here is getting beat up pretty badly. Unfortunately, he got nailed with a couple of really good attacks, so he's hurt. And there's nothing I can do about it at this stage. So
now, will people recover health automatically, like by staying out of combat, or is that only through healing?
Unfortunately, it's only through healing. The only ways you can recover health, there's 3 ways that I've found so far. Number one, great, thanks a lot. But there's only 3 ways. Number one, you can just eat food, and if you eat food outside of combat, then it gives you like 1 or 2 points of health back. It's very light. Number 2, obviously healing skills from your characters, which you can only use when you're in combat. You know, so you got to balance that a little bit.
Yeah.
And then 3, you can camp. And we're not going to see a camp in this episode, but I'll probably do a medium dungeon for the next episode, or maybe the one after, that involves camping. And when you do that, basically every single class has a set of skills that are explicit for camping. And a lot of times those skills are centered around either healing or around stress reduction, you know, the white bar.
Right,
so you can recover a lot of health and stress in camping, but you can only do camping in medium or longer adventures. And this is a short one, so no camp. So no camp.
Yeah, your grave robber there is not looking so hot. I don't think he's going to make it to the end of the episode.
Yeah, we'll see if you're right. We'll see. But now here's another example. See that strong box there was unlocked already? So I went ahead and took it, but some of the strong boxes come locked. And if you don't have a skeleton key on you, when you open the locked chest, I just walked past that crate, I realized that. I just need to back up and grab it. But if you choose to just open a locked crate or a locked or chest or a cabinet or something without the key, many, many, many times, it'll trigger a trap and you won't get anything. But if
that's kind of terrible.
Yeah. So, but if you bought a key as a provision or you've looted one along the adventure and you use it, then it's basically you're guaranteed to get something positive, you know, and avoid all the damage or other, you know, bad status effects. Now here's an alchemy table, and I did loot an alchemic or some herbs there, if you see. So,
yeah, medicinal herbies.
So we put those on there, and bang, successful research, and bang, earned 150 gold for that. If I'd have touched that without the herbs, then I might have still gotten it, but there's also the possibility that I would have gotten some horrible, you know, detrimental effect. So you got to be careful of that stuff.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. So, we should also point out, guys, that this game does officially launch on Steam tomorrow, 2/3/15.
Yes. So if you're watching this tonight as we release it, or more likely tomorrow on, you know, Tuesday the 3rd, then you can go grabs it either very, very soon or right now.
Right now.
So, and we would recommend it. It's a very, very strong game, even in its early form. I'll warn everybody, if you're not used to playing a roguelike, or especially if you've never played games like XCOM and stuff like that in the past, here's another opportunity. The statue here, you can use holy water on it and purify it, and bang, curried favor from the gods. And it gives you a buff. 30% damage.
That's beast mode.
Huge buff. So really, really cool. And here's another thing I'm checking. If there's a trap on the ground there, and I'm checking each character's trap disarm percentage and looking for somebody that's got, you know, reasonable amount, but it turns out that 40% is best I've got, but it worked. Yay.
Ta-da.
Yeah. So you have to watch out for that stuff and try to use the best character for the job at all times. You know, one time I did find out I was in another area with on another game, and I used a Crusader to dig up a grave.
Yeah.
And it popped up and it was like, that's not something that you would do. That's not, you have no respect for the grave, and the Crusader wouldn't do that, and it gave him a detrimental mental health, like a quirk.
Wow.
Because it was like, you should think about which character you're using to do things. Like if I choose the grave robber and go dig up a grave, there's a higher probability chance that I'll get something, you know.
Yeah.
That's
That
enough.
makes sense.
There's another little trinket there. That one's a zero downside one. It's just you get plus dodge, and you get more dodge if you're above a certain percentage health, which is pretty cool. So
So
yeah.
it seems like you would want to kind of focus on those items if it's possible to get them.
Yeah, the trinkets are actually really powerful, but again, you just have to find the ones that don't have serious detrimental effects. That's one of the very few ones that I have seen thus far that's all positive. Now, there's a horrible surprise check. I get my weakest guy thrown up front. That's just bad.
Oh, poor Emery.
Yeah, so Emery's going to try to do what work he can, but he's likely not going to see the end. Now, my Crusader there does have a skill that launches him up and pops him up one in the load order at the same time there, you see?
That's pretty beast.
Yeah, so that helps a lot. And here we're going to go ahead and try a stun grenade versus one of these riflemen here, I think.
Flashbang, I love it.
Yeah, stuns are extremely powerful. If you're not stunning, if you don't have skills that have stuns, then you better have healing. And if you don't have either, you're asking to die. Speaking of, Emery is now at death's door. So you see this state that you can put in. When you get reduced to 0 HP, you're not dead immediately. That's the thing. The character goes into this death's door state, and at that point, every time they get hit, there's a chance that they'll die, but there's also a chance that they'll shrug off the damage and stay alive.
So give them like a goldfish cracker.
Basically, that's what has to happen here. Yeah, you give them one more health. If they get healed to 1 health, then they're definitely okay for 2 more hits at the very minimum. But here's the other caveat. Whenever anyone gets put into death's door, it's a stressful event for the rest of the party.
Yeah.
So it's not so great to just keep bouncing back and forth between the two if you can help it. But if you have the stress reserves, then you can do it. That was a terrible hit right there.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean, that dinged up your Crusader quite a bit.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do a battle heal here and give a little bit of health back, especially since that bleed was coming. And now we'll try and do a little bit more and see what we can do. But yeah, this is a really rough fight, and if I can get to that next room, actually the quest completes, because the quest is just to explore 90% of the rooms.
Yeah.
So if I get to that next room, then we'll be done with the quest, and then it's kind of up to us if we really want to, move on and try and see what's in that last room, or, cut our losses and get out.
Yeah, I would imagine you'd probably want to try to save your party member if possible.
Yeah, if you can manage it, it's generally a good idea, to just get out. But really these are level 0 guys. I just got them. And it's not like I don't already have a grave robber, in the party that's likely going to survive. So I wasn't too concerned if this one bit the big one. But,
Aw, poor Emery.
I know, he feels so upset. But I'm trying to keep him. See, we're giving a little bit of love.
Yeah, you still got that bleed effect on, though. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, he could remove that from himself, but I was like thinking it would be better to get the mobs down completely. But we'll see how that works out. And the bleed kills him.
Oh, funny we mentioned that.
Yeah, too much. So we did finally lose Emery, and that's a stressful thing again for the rest of the party, but this battle is very winnable. This is the little reminder that the first time you lose a character, it reminds you that you do have the ability to retreat from combat if you want. You can attempt to retreat, and it will back your characters out of combat if they succeed at doing it. But then when you move forward again, the entire enemy party is revitalized, and you'll have to fight them again.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, right here, it's 3 against 1. You're probably going to be able to whoop this dude pretty well.
Exactly, yeah. So it's always about, kind of judging the game situation and figuring out if you're in a good position or not, to finish the fight. And I felt strong that this was good enough. And again, these are not characters that I care too deeply about right now. I haven't developed them at all. So let's press forward here and check out this room. Go ahead and tick up the light source a little bit there on the torch. and just see if there's anything else cool that we want to get. A little box for our trouble.
Something else I haven't mentioned that I absolutely love about this game is the art style.
Yeah, they really broke the bank on this. As they were doing the development on this game, one of the artists would come on and he would actually stream on Twitch while he was designing art for the game, and it was a pretty popular stream, as I recall. I watched it several times.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's it just has like that kind of, that dark feeling, that, really kind of medieval theme to it.
Yeah, it's compared a lot to like Cthulhu a little bit, like
Oh, okay,
for,
yeah,
for
yeah, I can see
those
that.
yeah, for those who have that, background, you'll understand that. But went ahead and pressed on and took a look at the final room here, and I just saw that after the scouting that there was actually one more treasure chest or some sort of item to take a look at. So gonna press forward and take a peek at it. Caught the last of our hunger there, and we'll just go and check out these books. Sometimes books are good, sometimes books are bad, but we'll go ahead and risk it, and nothing doing in this one. So,
Ooh.
but with that, we complete the adventure, and 3 of our heroes make it out of there, and we pick up a little gold for our trouble, and overall, it was definitely a profitable adventure. We got a lot of heirlooms, things to use to upgrade the hamlet, and, pick up 6K, and everybody gets a level, which is also good. They can upgrade some of their skills and equipment at this point, which is always excellent. So with that, yeah, that's week 2. And definitely going to keep going with this game because it's a ball. And I know you're picking it up tomorrow, so I might have some of your footage on here as well. So with that, guys, hope you guys are enjoying the series. If you have any questions or anything about the game, let us know. We're going to be covering here along with our Starbound coverage and eventually Terraria 1.3, which we're so looking forward to. Big time.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned, guys. There's lots more to come. Thanks for watching.